Hello and welcome to On the Mat with Lydia. That's me, and whatever has brought you to your yoga practice today, you are very welcome here. Today's class is movement and meditation for Vatas. So those of you who are Vata type in body or personality or both, that means that you have a lot of the elements of air and ether present in your constitution. So you might find that you are very prone to movement, you like to move around, you like to do things, you get very excited, you get very curious. This might also make you a bit scattered or anxious at times. So in order to balance out this Vata energy that's very light and kind of all over the place, we're going to do a pretty slow-paced grounding practice today. So for this class, you might want to grab a blanket and 2 blocks if you have them. Always great to bring more support into your yoga practice. And then you also might like to have a journal with you or just something to write on in case you find that your mind is running wild, a lot of thoughts are popping in and out. You might find it really helpful to have that journal just so you can jot some things down as we go throughout the practice so you can feel that kind of release of getting that out and you can really center into the stillness of the practice. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into our practice for today. We're going to start off in a seated position. So as you find this comfortable seat, you might like to support yourself just a little bit more by bringing one of your props, I'm going to choose my blanket, and placing it underneath your sits bones. So sitting up onto that prop, just lifting the hips, letting the legs get heavy. And then resting your hands onto your thighs, sitting up nice and tall. And perhaps closing your eyes if that feels safe and comfortable for you. If not, keeping the eyes open for today, finding a soft gaze towards the floor in front of you. And as you arrive here, you might feel your body is a little bit jittery. Maybe you feel like you want to move around a bit. That's a-okay. Just for now, we're going to see if we can invite in a little bit of stillness. So feeling your hips get really heavy, rooting your sits bones into the mat. Feeling the muscles of the legs and arms relax. Feeling yourself supported by the earth. Knowing that without any effort, without any strain, you are held here in this space, in this moment. Inviting in this opportunity to cherish both the movement and the stillness as we spend some time on the mat today. Embracing the flow and the pause, perhaps both on and off of your yoga mat. So let's take just a few more moments to sit and breathe here, feeling yourself rooted in this moment, supported by your yoga mat. And all together, let's take one more breath in and let it out. If your eyes are closed, please flutter them open. And moving slowly now, let's transition into our child's pose. So coming onto your hands and your knees, spreading your knees nice and wide apart, bringing your big toes together, and sitting your hips back towards your heels, coming all the way down towards that child's pose shape. Supporting your forehead either by bringing your head down onto the mat or perhaps bringing your hands under your forehead. And once again, noticing how it feels to let your body get heavy, to sink into the support of your yoga mat. And it might not come automatically today. It might be a process over time. Trust that wherever you are in this moment is exactly where you need to be. Let's take another inhale right here. And exhale. And extending your arms forward, please take an inhale to rise up to hands and knees, finding your tabletop position. Centering your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. Let's take an inhale to lengthen the spine. As you exhale, tuck your chin and round, finding your cat pose. Then inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin, find your cow. Exhale, round your spine, look towards your toes, find your cat. Now this time, as you inhale, open up into your cow pose. As you exhale, round into your cat, and then sit your hips back towards your heels, coming once again towards that child's pose. Then moving with your breath, take an inhale, rise up, open your heart. Exhale, round your spine and sit back. Just like that, inhaling to rise into your cow. Exhaling to round into your cat and sit back into child's pose. 2 more times, inhale. And exhale. Follow your breath as you inhale. And exhale. This time, as you inhale, coming all the way forward onto hands and knees. As you exhale, lower yourself onto your stomach. Does not have to be graceful to get there. As you arrive, hands are going to slide back to either side of your rib cage, forehead resting down on the mat. Take an inhale to lift your heart just a couple inches, finding a baby cobra. As you exhale, lightly land the chest, the forehead back down. Inhale, rising your heart once again, anchoring through your hips. And exhale, slowly lower. One more time like that. Inhale, lift your heart, spread your collarbones wide. And exhale, gently lower down, release. Take an inhale right here. And exhale. Pressing through your palms, inhale up off of your belly, coming back through hands and knees. Let's recenter ourselves here, stacking the joints once again and finding your nice long spine. With your next inhale, reach your right leg back behind you. As you exhale, draw your knee towards your nose and let's step that right foot up in between the hands. So coming towards a low lunge here, if you'd like, you can widen that stance, readjust the feet as needed. But before we do anything else, let's really get rooted into this pose. So you might want to grab those yoga blocks if you have them. Using these is a really great way to lift the earth up to you so that you can get that support, you can get that stability into these poses. So planting your palms down, maybe on those blocks, maybe right onto the floor. And then rooting down through that right foot as well. So these 3 points are pushing down into the earth. From that support, can you feel the stretch through that left hip? Can you feel this lightness in your chest? Breathing into this low lunge stretch as you take another inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Keeping that left palm planted, let's move right hand to the top of your right thigh. Taking another inhale in your low lunge. As you exhale, turn your heart open towards your right knee and find yourself in a twist. So continuing to push with those 3 points, both hands in that front foot, lifting you up away from the earth. All the while, the hips are staying heavy, so you feel that stretch through the hips as you open through the heart. Really playing with opposites here, the heaviness and the lightness, the strength and the stretch. And let's take another inhale here in our twist. As you exhale, begin to unwind, and as you do, let's bring that right hand to the inside edge of the right foot. That right foot is going to heel toe nice and wide towards the right edge of your mat, settling into your lizard lunge now. So a little bit more open into the hips. You have the option here to stay lifted up on your palms, or perhaps you'd like to grab one of your props and lower it down onto your forearms. Looking for that place of sensation where you feel a stretch in that right hip, in the front of the left thigh. But there's no strain, there's no force, there's no effort here. Finding that place where you want to land, where you feel supported, where you feel comfortable, where you can really surrender down into this shape and let it work its magic. And we're going to stay here for about 5 rounds of breath. So like I mentioned before, embracing the joy both in the movement and in the stillness. Embracing whatever experience is being brought up for you here. Whatever sensations, whatever emotions, whatever reactions. And all together we have one more inhale here. And exhale completely. As you inhale, slowly lift back up onto your palms if you're not already there. And moving slowly, gently here, send your right leg back to meet your left, coming back towards your tabletop position. Moment here to wiggle the hips, move around as much as it feels good before we come to the other side. And then recentering in that tabletop position, rooting down through the hands and the shins. With your next inhale, sending your left leg back behind you. As you exhale, drawing your knee forward towards your nose and stepping your left foot in between your hands. Finding your low lunge shape here. Again, option to bring blocks underneath the hands. Keeping the hands framing the foot, or perhaps even bringing the arms up to the thigh if that feels more supportive for your body today. And then rooting down through that left foot, hugging that left thigh bone back into the hip socket. Feeling the hips getting heavy as you stretch into the right thigh, yet keeping the heart lifted, staying light through the chest. Finding the flow of your breath even in these moments of stillness. And let's take another inhale here. And exhale. Keeping your right hand rooted, let's bring left hand to left thigh. Taking another inhale in your lunge, lengthening your spine. And as you exhale, twist open towards your left knee, opening your chest, hugging your shoulder blades together on your back. Beautiful. So lower body stays strong here, rooting down through the feet, hugging in through the hips. So that your upper body is free to explore this twist. Maybe even moving around a little bit to see where you want to land and breathe here. And let's take one more inhale here in our twist. As you exhale, begin to unwind, bringing left hand to the inside edge of your left foot. Walking that left foot nice and wide to the left edge of your mat as we set up for our lizard lunge. So starting to feel a little bit more space opening up in that left hip. You have the option as we stay for the next 5 rounds of breath to stay lifted on your palms or perhaps come down onto your block. Again, finding that place where your body feels supported, where you feel comfortable in the stretch without too much effort, without too much strain. And as you find that place in the pose, allow yourself to commit to stillness, even if just for a few breaths. Even in that stillness of the body, there is a flow inside, that flow of the breath, that flow of life force within you. And you're always connected to that flow, even as you allow your body to rest. And let's stay for another inhale here. And exhale. As you inhale, gently lifting back up onto your palms if you're not already there. And sending that left leg back to meet your right one more time, passing through our tabletop position. Little wiggle to release if that feels nice. And then when you're ready, we're going to meet in a seated position on the mat. Beautiful. As you make your way to your seat, please bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees open out wide. And before we fold forward here, we're going to bring our props into the pose. So if you have your 2 blocks, they're going to slide right underneath the thighs, under the knees, giving us once again this lifting of the earth coming up to meet your body so that you can really relax the legs down. That way you don't feel the need to hold them up in any way. And from there, sitting up nice and tall, maybe even sitting up on a blanket if you'd like. Taking an inhale here. And as you exhale, begin to reach your heart forward towards your toes, folding down between your legs, Baddha Konasana. Feeling that heaviness through your lower body, rooting through your hips, relaxing down through the legs. Letting these blocks, letting your yoga mat hold you here. Trusting that you are safe to be held in this moment. And allowing yourself as best as you're able to relax into this shape for the next 5 rounds of breath. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your nose or mouth. Beautiful, nice long hold here. Let's take another inhale and exhale completely. As you inhale, slowly rise back up to a nice tall seat. Gently bringing your hands to the outer edges of your legs and pressing the thighs together. You can move your blocks off to the side, and we'll start to stretch the legs out long in front, staying seated up nice and tall. Now reaching through the legs, maybe giving them a little wiggle if that feels nice. Now feel yourself once again rooted down through those sits bones, maybe even using your hands to gently press down, feeling that heaviness. We're going to keep that heaviness the entire time to really anchor us to the mat. Then the upper body is going to lift up tall, maybe even reaching the arms up as you inhale. With your exhale, reach your heart forward, keeping the hips heavy. And release the hands down. Drop the chin towards the chest as you settle into your forward fold. So this is not about going into the deepest version of your forward fold, but rather inviting that heaviness down through the legs, feeling still that stretch through the hamstrings, and then committing to this surrender into the shape. So we use this word surrender a lot in our yoga practice. And I feel like oftentimes it has kind of a negative connotation, as if by surrendering you're giving away your power or you're giving up choice. But rather, surrender is an act of giving over, of knowing that you are safe to really commit to this pose, to open yourself to whatever it might have to offer you. To trust that your yoga is truly here to support you, to nourish you. So let's stay for another 5 rounds of breath in this forward fold, exploring what it means to surrender. And all together, let's take one more inhale here. And exhale completely. With your inhale, slowly rise up, coming back to that nice tall seat. Maybe give the legs one last little wiggle if that feels nice. And then scooting yourself to that midpoint of your mat, drawing your knees towards your chest as you slowly roll yourself down onto your back. Coming all the way to lay on your mat, knees hugging in, wrapping your arms around your shins or the backs of your thighs. Giving yourself this really sweet moment just to hold yourself here. Feeling your entire back body supported by the earth underneath you. Relaxing the weight of your body. Maybe softening the muscles around your jaw, your forehead, your neck and shoulders. Unclenching your fingers and toes. Let's take another inhale right here. And exhale completely. And one leg at a time, begin to drop the soles of your feet down towards the mat. And please grab one of your blocks. Now, if you don't have a block here today, you can always do this without the block, but it's always sweet just to add a prop in if you're able to. So rooting down through the feet, one hand holding your block. Let's take an inhale to rise the hips just enough to slide your block right there underneath your sacrum. Landing your hips down onto your prop here. So making sure that your block is not on your low back, it's not kind of in the middle of your butt, but it's in that space right in between, right about where the waistband of your pants would be. Now again, if you don't have a block today, it's a-okay. Hips can stay resting on the earth. Now you might already feel right here that this feels like a really nice stretch, really opening up the front body. If you choose, you might like to explore a gentle inversion here today. If you'd like to explore, 1 foot at a time, you're going to lift your feet up off the ground, knees coming towards your chest, and slowly stretching your legs towards the sky, finding this kind of legs up the wall variation without the wall. So with the block under your hips, really supporting your sacrum, giving you that little extra lift. But again, if you don't have a block today, you can do this same shape with your hips on the ground. Now our arms will rest wherever they feel most natural. And perhaps you feel safe to close your eyes here. Really letting yourself relax into this shape. Or we'll be staying for the next 10 rounds of breath. Allowing your legs to really be held in space here. No need to exert or engage to keep the legs lifted. You can relax through the hips, through the bowl of the pelvis. You can relax your belly, your back, allowing your entire body to grow heavy. And letting yourself be supported for these next few minutes. And I invite you to stay in these last 5 rounds of breath in stillness and silence, knowing that at any point you're always welcome to come out of the pose before those 5 breaths are done. All together we have another breath in here and breath out. Gently, slowly begin to re-bend your knees, drawing them in towards your chest. And 1 foot at a time, bringing the soles of your feet back onto your mat. If you're resting on that block, lift your hips just enough that you can slide your block out from underneath you and rest your hips back onto the ground. Pause for a moment, notice how you feel. Letting your body stay heavy and relaxed. And perhaps you'd like to stay right here with knees bent, feet planted. Or maybe you extend the legs out long, coming towards our more traditional Shavasana shape. Settling into a place where you can stay in stillness and comfort for these next few minutes of meditation. So if you'd like, please take a moment now to add in some props, readjust your positioning as needed so that you can be completely comfortable. And as you arrive in that place of stillness, bringing your awareness to your breath, following each inhale and exhale, feeling that gentle rise and fall. Noticing that with each round of breath, you can relax more completely. You can relax your body. You can slow your thoughts. You can welcome in a sense of calm, quiet, peace. Breathing in and breathing out. Moving deeper and deeper into this place of rest. And I invite you now to draw your awareness down to the base of your pelvis, at the bottom of your spine. Feeling your sits bones where they're touching the earth. Feeling this heaviness around your hips and pelvis. Allowing that heaviness to spread all the way down to your legs, all the way down into your feet. And as you feel that heaviness spread through your lower body, imagining too this movement of your breath down and out. Breathing in through your nose and out through the soles of your feet. With this breath, you can release any worry, any anxiety, any fear, releasing anything you no longer need to hold on to, releasing anything that may be holding you back. Breathing in through the nose and breathing that out through the soles of your feet, releasing it all to the earth. Body heavy, muscles relaxed. Breathing in this cycle of release. I invite you to stay here for the next minute or so in silence. And I'll let you know when it's time to reawaken. Breathing in and breathing out. Becoming aware of your body, where you're resting on the earth. Noticing the space around you, the sounds, the smells. Gently bringing yourself back into your physical body, into this physical space, as you begin to reawaken from this meditation. Eventually inviting some gentle movement back into your body, starting small, wiggling fingers and toes, rolling wrists and ankles, and beginning to move and stretch in any way that feels good as you reawaken. When you feel ready, drawing your knees in towards your chest and rolling over onto the right side of your body, taking your time as you transition. Eventually pressing yourself all the way up to a seated position on your mat. Just as we started our practice today, rooting down through your sits bones, sitting up nice and tall, feeling yourself continually supported by the earth underneath you. Notice how you feel in your body, in your mind, in your heart. And know that you can take this feeling with you off of your mat anytime that you need it. If it feels right for you, I invite you to bring your hands together in front of your heart, bowing your head towards your hands for a moment of gratitude. Thanking yourself for taking this time on your mat today. Thanking your yoga for whatever it has had to offer you. And I thank you so much for meeting me on the mat. Namaste. Be well.